Anybody can do it. So you can volunteer for that. All right, I call to order the special city council meeting Monday, July 31st, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Michelle Otto.
David Paradise.
Kirby Moyna.
Sam Solars.
Nicole Andrioff.
Jessica Bonniwell.
Mary Teachin, City Attorney.
Approval of the agenda. We'll need to make one slight change. We'll be removing under new business, number 5, letter D, resolution 2023-19. It's no longer necessary.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
As amended. Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 5-0. Public hearing. So at this time, I will make a motion to close the regular city council meeting and open up a public hearing to consider an ordinance establishing a licensing framework within the city of Montrose for businesses to sell certain products that are authorized for sale under Minnesota statutes section 151.72.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now in a public hearing. Is there any public comment or questions regarding establishing a license under Minnesota statute section 151.72? If you step up to the mic, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. For the record, I'm Liz Frauman, 921 Aspen Lane in Montrose, the lovely city of Montrose. I hope it stays that way, because part of the reason we chose to live here is the community that there is and what it has to offer. I think the resolution that's under consideration could potentially change that, and it's not something that I want to see in my hometown.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment regarding establishing licensing for businesses?
What exactly does this all entail? Mary, can you help us out on this? Or me, at least?
Sure, Mayor, Councilmember Otto. So this ordinance, and just for a little bit of background, is I'm sure all of you on the council know, these products, these edible cannabinoid products were legalized by the state legislature last year. And the city at the time put a moratorium in place to prohibit sales of those products because you wanted to study them and figure out what authority you had to regulate them. And also, you know, there was a bit of a waiting period because we all knew the legislature was going to be considering legalizing full-blown cannabis, which it did, of course, which goes into effect tomorrow. So these lower potency edibles are still legal, and the city doesn't have the authority to prohibit the sales of these. They have been legalized by the state. So really this ordinance that you're considering tonight is a licensing ordinance which would give the city some oversight and licensing authority over the sales that essentially would really help protect the public more rather than just allowing the sales without city oversight. So this is, so really that's what this ordinance does. It puts a licensing scheme in place. So anybody wanting to sell these edible products will have to get a license from the city, will have to pay a fee, will have to, and I believe your ordinance allows tobacco licensees and off-sale liquor licensees to apply for a license to sell these products. And so in that regard, you have individuals and businesses who have already gone through background checks and have been already approved by the council to sell tobacco and liquor. So you're really just adding, they would be adding these products to their shelves as well. And so that's kind of in a nutshell what this license does, is it puts that licensing scheme into place and provides some conditions and criteria that licensees have to meet, including age restrictions, that kind of thing. Do you want to talk about that? Yes, yes. In conversations with your city administrator, I did want to bring up one possible point for clarification with the council. I'm trying to find it here. The ordinance restricts, which section is that in, Jess? There's a location restriction of 500 feet from youth facilities, and I'm trying to find the language now. But your city administrator and I wanted to put in front of the council perhaps a clarification on how that 500-foot distance would be measured. Perhaps.
A10, 7805 A10.
Okay. Yes. So one ground for denying a license would be if the location of the business is within 500 feet of a youth-oriented facility. And we thought it might be worth having a little bit of discussion on what the 500 feet means. Is that 500 feet from a property line? Is it 500 feet from the buildings? How you're going to measure that? And if the council wants to clarify that in the ordinance, we can amend it after you can give us direction on that, and we can amend it before it's published. And your city administrator might have a little more information on the current layout of where
So,
those.
for example, we all know where the school is, and that the O Brothers Liquor Store, their parcel meets up against the school parcel. However, their buildings are at least 800 feet apart. So I don't know if we want to say from the building or from like a structure, like a playground. Something like that. I don't know what you guys think, how that should be measured.
Is this time to discuss that, or can we do that afterwards, or now, or?
I mean, we can, if you want to, make a change, you can do that when you close the public hearing, and yeah, that's fine.
I just didn't know if now was when we would want to talk about that, or afterwards.
I think either way.
Yeah, you could finish your public hearing and close the public hearing and then have a discussion.
Could do that. There's no more public comment,
Okay.
unless you guys have other questions, comments, concerns about this.
What about, I'm looking at it, the on-sale liquor? That doesn't, it basically says tobacco or off-sale liquor license. Is the on-sale not included then?
Not in this ordinance the way it's written.
Not as drafted.
Correct.
Okay.
Is that something they could allow if they want to, the on sale?
I just
That's
think,
up to the
I just think
council.
we'd almost have to with one of the establishments being both an on and off sale license. There will be cross, and if we don't define that, we'll need to do that now.
Didn't think about that.
Is there any other public comment on establishing a licensing framework for the city of Montrose?
Question I have is, are there any other license that could be considered as far as bringing other kinds of businesses into Montrose? You know, is it, or is this particularly just for the cannabis at the moment?
This one is particularly for the edible cannabis. So if places are selling, the popular one is like gummy bears,
Right?
that type of stuff. So this one is particular to an establishment needing to get a license to sell that.
For the drinks.
Okay.
Or the
And
drinks.
is it associated with any medicinal reasons or just for recreation?
I believe it's just for the purpose of wanting to eat it.
To recreation?
Yeah.
Okay. I just, like I said, Montrose is special to me, right? I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone else. To me, it is extremely special. And we chose to live here because of the community that we have. To go to a place in a way that we know that there are vices associated with it. And I know we say that the alcohol licenses and all these other things, right? How many kids, how many teens have been in car accidents because of they've had alcohol to drink, right? So what's going to prevent this from taking over and getting down to the kids that shouldn't even be near it? And is there an age limit on this? Okay, what's the age limit? 18? 21. Okay, but is that going to stop it, right? So I just, my heart goes out because, we lived in California for years, and we left California to come to a place like this because of the things that were going on. And you start to open the door a crack, and then it opens wider and wider and wider. And the next thing you know, you're not in a situation that you want to be in any longer. I don't want to move again. I'm happy where I'm at. So I guess let's bring other businesses other than the edibles into town and make it a vibrant place. I mean, there's facilities all around that are empty. Let's fill them with fun things for the kids to do instead of, here's a recreational cannabis. Okay, go have fun, get high. Sorry, never been there, never done it, won't do it. Okay, so I ask the council to consider what this door opening a crack even means to the community.
Well, and that's kind of why our city attorney had kind of stated earlier what she did, that we can't prevent this. This is just giving us control over who can sell it, because the state legalized it. The state says it's happening. We can't stop that.
So if we do nothing, they'll just be able to,
Sell it on every corner.
Everybody can just go out and sell it, so.
Okay, so then tighten the screws down, please. Okay, make it as tight as you possibly can, because we know what will happen. We've all been there. We were all teenagers, right?
and we are making it kind of as tight as we can within the parameters of what the state is allowing us to have control
Right.
over, so.
And I wish I had been able to be at the state one because I would have
Yeah.
been louder.
Yeah.
It just, I had a friend today talk to me about how that he sent another family friend, right, to Arizona, Phoenix. Beautiful city. You guys ever been there? Beautiful. It's now one of the drug capitals in the U.S. He came back to California addicted from all the drugs that were there. It's like, it's insidious. It's everywhere. And so please tighten it down. Okay?
We're doing as much as we can, yeah.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, could I make just another comment?
Yep.
That I think would give a little bit more context to the, the state eventually, so this is just for the, really what involves gummies and beverages, pretty much is what are the typical products. Eventually, the state is going to take over the licensing of these as well as the higher potency cannabis. So, unfortunately, the state legislature did not give cities very much authority over this at all. And so your council is doing what they can do, like a lot of other cities. But in probably sometime in early 2025, the state is going to have their agency set up. They're in the process of doing that now. But probably in early 2025, people are anticipating that the state will be taking over the licensing. And so at that point, the city then won't have, other than having some zoning authority about location of where businesses can locate and where they can sell, other than that,
Maybe how many?
right, and how many, the city will be able to limit the number of businesses. And because of your size, you would be able to limit it to one.
And all the more reason to fill all the buildings that are.
But you will have to allow at least one. If you had somebody apply at the state level and want to locate in Montrose, you would not be able to prohibit them altogether, but you would be able to limit the number. You don't have to, but you would have the ability to do that if you wanted to. So I just wanted to give a little more context that the state will be taking over eventually, and even further limiting what the city will be able to do, except for in a few areas.
Roger Froman, 921 Aspen. My comment is basically that whatever ordinance, whatever we come up with is something that doesn't, or at least minimize the cost of enforcement. And that doesn't overburden the sheriff's department and the law enforcement. So we want something that they can work with and that makes sense, and that we're not, outliers making their job impossible. I think that's important, right?
Yeah, and we are working directly with Wright County to be on the same page about all of this so that they can enforce it and have it be as easy for them as possible, so. Yeah.
Is there any other public comment on establishing license framework within the city of Montrose? Is there any other public comment? Third and final time, is there any other public comment on considering an ordinance establishing a licensing framework within the city of Montrose? Hearing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular city council meeting.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, we are back in our regular council meeting. So what changes did we want to see to the ordinance?
Initially under 78.02, number 4, under retail establishments. Figure we should talk about, it only says in there for licensed to sell tobacco or off-sale liquor. Did we want to open that up to the on sale as well?
So if we didn't open it up to on sale, that would, then this is just a question, that would mean that the bar areas, one in particular, but both bars would not be able to sell any kind of product within their facility unless they have an off sale that could sell it in the off sale area.
Correct.
Right.
Unless we were to add language about on sale, correct?
Correct.
Right. Which would limit one of them anyway based on the distance.
Correct.
Is there a reason why we didn't include on sale?
Mayor, I mean, this was just a draft to get in front of the council, so that really is a policy decision for the council whether or not to include those
Fair enough.
establishments.
I don't have a dog in the fight in this, I'm just, one thing I noticed on it, just wanted to bring it up.
Do we want to change it, or do we just want to leave it as is until somebody brings it up? But it will be brought up, I'm sure.
I would say we need to change it now.
To allow on sale to sell it?
Yes. That's my thought.
Other opinions?
So that would say that the one establishment, you can go in there, hang out, and do your drink, eat, whatever, with family, friend, right?
I mean, at both of them, yeah. I guess.
Well, you're talking on sale.
Right, they both serve food.
Oh, I'm just thinking, oh, brothers, I'm forgetting about Jacoby. So Jacoby's out of my mind. Okay.
And Mayor and Councilmember Otto, that would include on-site consumption. So if you have an on-sale, if you have a bar with an on-sale liquor license selling the beverages, they obviously can be consumed on the premises. So
Would
it's
we
not
be
just-
able to, with the on-sale, limit the serving per can as far as like the, your 5 milligrams, your 10 milligrams? I mean, there's some out there that are 50, which is insane.
Yeah, there are, under the state statute, there are limitations.
Okay.
I don't remember.
they would
off
have
the
I
top
just didn't know
of
if we had the authority to establish anything else other than that, or if we are
those are gov-
withhold, okay,
Right, that's governed by state law.
that's fine.
Yep.
I mean, speaking, as, if I own the establishment, I'd be very diligent in what I'm doing if I'm doing it on sale, because I feel like there's opportunity to lose a liquor license over serving too much on that, and more chaos if there's deputies involved in that kind of stuff. So I think there is that to consider as far as hopefully they're watching it. I'm a little weary of opening it up to the on-premise. Personally,
I'd like to give them the opportunity to make that decision themselves, though.
I don't
Versus us.
disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I would like to have seen them here discussing,
Yeah.
what their plans are, what their intentions are, whatever. But I agree. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with you on this. Because, I mean, it really does. It opens it up for that on sale to do. And as we just had our discussion, they really don't have any enforcement on it yet. So,
What does the state statute say on sale? Any idea?
It's allowed.
Yeah.
But it's up to the city if they want to license it.
I mean, it's
The on-site consumption.
if you're looking at that over alcohol, it's safer than alcohol. At the end of the day, it's just when you get into the mixing while you're drinking, that's the issue.
Well, and if people want to do that, they're gonna,
Do it anyway.
at this place that has an off sale as well, they'll buy it there, put it in their car. So, I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
and if at least it was on the on sale side of things as well, there's more likelihood that the servers would cut them off if they're, that would be my thought on that, but
They're still not allowing them to mix with alcohol on that, right? Like create cocktails and stuff, I believe, hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't know the answer to that, but I don't think so.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but there were
Yeah,
places that were
I can
doing this
imagine.
long before this was all legal.
Yeah. I mean,
Not here.
Right. The liquor licensees, regardless of its alcohol or THC, still have the obligation to monitor their patrons
In the consumption,
and make sure that they, are not
overserved.
over-serving intoxicated
yeah,
customers.
yep,
It's the
absolutely.
same with alcohol.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
the same rule that they have to follow.
I'm just wondering if there's some, like a provision we could put in there where you can't mix it with an alcoholic drink in the same glass. Is that's kind of what I'm getting at. I know that out in St. Paul, there's a place that got busted for that, federally.
How do you police that though?
Send somebody
I
in
mean,
there.
you don't. I mean, you don't. You hope that at least the establishment isn't doing that. If the individual is doing that, that's one thing, but I don't want the establishment
Right.
offering, add a shot of vodka to your THC drink,
No thanks.
Okay.
Just,
Okay, so if I'm understanding, no one is outright against adding on sale to this subsection, and so it would say to sell tobacco off sale or on sale liquor. Am I understanding that correctly?
No. I would be against it. Due to the fact, I think with the off sale is the way it is. If the establishments want to do it as on sale, like I said, I think they should have come here and talked to us about that. So that we could ask the questions, like David had questions, how are you going to take control of this? What are you going to do?
I'm fine with completely just leaving it alone and waiting for one of them to approach us.
The council could amend it later if you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Right.
That's always an option as well.
Yeah, until the state takes over, this will be
yeah.
in force, so.
I think there's too many unknowns, and even with the off sale, I'm sure they'll go over there and go to the parking lot, whatever.
Yeah.
But
You can't prevent that anyway.
you're not going to prevent it. You're not going to prevent people from doing everything they do.
Right.
But if we can prevent adding more to the plate right now, and if there's a full plan, if they want to come in front of us and talk about it, I'm more than happy to hear them out.
Okay.
I'm not against it. I just don't think we need to jump all the way into the deep end.
Okay.
Right.
I was
We've
misunderstanding
floated
you
for a
then.
while.
You're good.
And then did you guys want to discuss, like, the measurement, how to measure from youth-oriented facilities? Like, are we measuring from, like, a structure, like a playground, and/or the school structure itself, kid care itself? Or whatever the early childhood,
What is the definition of a youth-oriented facility?
it is in here.
Means a public or private elementary, middle, or high school, a state licensed child or daycare program with more than 10 children and any city park. That's how it's currently written.
So for example,
So to me, that says building, unless it's a designated city park. That's how I understand that.
when I'm thinking of it, I think from building to that other building, not from parcel to parcel.
Yeah.
Yep. Same.
Do we need to put clarifying language in?
I mean, it does say facility, and based on that definition, that represents building to me.
The location of the business is within 500 feet of a youth-oriented facility, which would be anything included in that definition. Is that clear enough? Or do you want to say which could be a building or a park? we need to add that kind of something in.
So the only location we have to be concerned about is O Brothers, really?
Well, just because their parcel hits up against the school, but the school building and the playground itself are, you know, at least 500, if not 800 feet away. I was measuring on the Wright County site last week, so.
So is the playground within from O Brothers?
The playground's far enough away, yep. It's 500 feet or more away.
Do we have a similar ordinance when it comes to liquor license?
I believe so.
So do you just have one situation where this would
Yep.
apply? Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're only going, this is a temporary ordinance.
Right.
And if you only have one scenario where the distance requirement's gonna matter, I mean, I still think you could clarify it and say measuring from from building to building on the respective parcels, just for clarification. But I also think you're having this discussion as part of a public record. If you're all on the same page and you apply it the way you intended,
consistently, yeah.
and it's only going to cover one scenario in the city anyway for a short period of time, you're probably okay. But it certainly would be, it wouldn't hurt to just say, you know, measured from,
I believe the alcohol is similar.
yeah.
So then we should be in the, you know,
Should
be fine.
So it will affect a second place as well, actually. If you're licensed to sell tobacco, you can be licensed to sell this.
Which would be the Casey's.
But they're in a similar location to that, so.
So then I would question what our tobacco one says, but,
I think it's similar language.
so structure to structure. Or building to building, I mean, I guess.
Building to building, yep.
I will just throw this out there, and it's not my call at all, it's yours, but this is not a requirement either. I mean, this is an option.
It's one thing that they're allowing us to do.
Yeah. You're not required to have this separation, you know. It's simply an option that is being put in front of you. It's not a requirement.
I think, you know, as we talked about state taking over at some point, I think we keep that just so that there's established what we're looking for. If there is a time when they're gonna say, yeah, you have to allow one dispensary or whatever down the road, I'd like it far away from those places as possible.
And to elaborate on that, you will, since this licensing ordinance eventually will go away, because the state will take over, but you will be, in the next item on your agenda, you're going to talk about a possible moratorium on cannabis businesses. And that will give you time to look at your zoning and figure out whether you want to do something like this with cannabis businesses as well. So this right now just applies to the edible sales.
Yep.
So if you approve the moratorium, the next item, then, you know, I think staff will be coming to you with some information about possible zoning regulations and that kind of thing with respect to cannabis, so.
Yeah, perfect.
So do we want to change the definition for when it says youth-oriented facility to say measured from building to building?
Yep. I think so.
Okay.
Well, he's talking about changing the actual definition. Or would you recommend just changing the number 10 under 7805A?
Right, Mayor, and I think maybe the best way to approach that would be leave the definition, but then in 78.05, paragraph 10, we would add a sentence about how the 500 feet would be measured.
Yep.
Yeah.
So whoever makes a motion on this, if you want to just put that in the motion, directing us to add that clarifying language, that would be helpful.
That's where I was writing it anyway. Anything else on that? Anything else that needs to be changed? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-05 with the amendment under 78.05, number 10, to be measured from building to building.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Any other discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
And then just the resolution to authorize summary publication.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2023-17, resolution authorizing the summary publication of ordinance 2023-05.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, I'll now make a motion to once again close the regular city council, or the special city council meeting, and open up a public hearing to consider an interim ordinance authorizing a study and imposing a moratorium on the establishment and operation of cannabis businesses within the city of Montrose.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are now in public hearing. Is there any public comment regarding a moratorium on cannabis businesses? Any other public comment regarding a moratorium on cannabis businesses? Is there any public comment? Third and final time, any public comment regarding imposing a moratorium on cannabis businesses? Hearing none, I will make a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular city council meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're back in our regular special city council meeting. Keep getting that mixed up.
Regular special.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-06, authorizing an interim ordinance authorizing a study and imposing a moratorium on the operation of cannabis businesses within the city of Montrose.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Does anybody not want to put the moratorium on?
No.
Okay, I will vote aye. Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
I'll make a motion to accept the resolution of 2023-18, resolution authorizing summary publication of ordinance 2023-06.
I'll second.
Further discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay, on to business. Pheasant Hills backyard drainage.
Mayor and council, the request before you this evening is from the residents of Pheasant Hills who have agreed to be assessed for the $17,540 cost, actual cost of the project for drainage improvement in their area. They are still asking the council to pay for the engineering and administrative estimated cost of $2,200 in order to move forward with this project. I don't believe that is going to stop them from doing this project, but they were just asking for assistance with that cost. And Mary probably has something to say about it.
And Mayor and Council, I did speak with your city administrator about this issue, and I've kind of generally been aware of this project and this issue just through conversations with staff. And I know that you've had other attorneys from my office here during part of the council discussion on this as well, and I think an issue is raised about whether or not the expenditures of the city really served a public purpose, and as I'm sure you all know, the city is limited to spending money on projects that benefit the public as a whole. And so it's my opinion that these costs could be assessed to the benefiting properties, but that the costs should be paid by the benefiting properties and not by the city. That's my legal opinion, given the limited number of properties that this benefits. And so I just wanted to make the council aware of that.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we've already essentially paid some engineering fees for the initial.
We have paid some engineering fees to look into the project itself to see if it warranted city attention. And then it was discovered that it's really only benefiting 3 properties and that it is only benefiting those properties.
Is there any kind of precedent within the city set on this in the past that we know of?
Well, we know that the city did pay for or did a drainage fix in a similar area in the surrounding area, over in that area a long time ago, over 10 years ago. And they did pay the costs for that. But they probably should not have paid those costs.
I just meant with the engineering things. I think that was a situation where
Yeah.
they just took it upon themselves to try to fix something.
Yeah, the city took it upon themselves to try and fix something, but it ended up being a private property improvement, which should not be paid for with public funds. So that's kind of up to you guys if you want to pay for this $2,200. But the property owners have agreed to be assessed, so, and they do want the project completed.
So that cost would just be divided amongst the 3.
Yep, so then the total cost would be divided the 3 ways.
Thoughts? Anybody?
I have zero issue with the initial engineering fees to see what's needed out there. I don't think the city should be on the hook for the other portion that's now.
The engineering fees of completing the
Yeah.
task.
Yeah, because this is like an estimated cost for future engineering and administration costs just to finish out the project.
I think this should be assessed to the homeowners.
I agree.
And I did let them know this was going to be on the agenda tonight, all of the benefiting property owners, so you're aware.
Do you need a motion?
Yep, I need a motion.
I make a motion to have the $2,200 assessed to and divided amongst the 3 properties.
I'll second.
Further discussion? Mr. Solars?
No.
Ms. Andrioff?
Yes.
How about aye, Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. Park and Recreation Spending Authority.
Mayor and council, the 2 spending authority things that are being asked for tonight are for the Park and Rec event that's coming up in September. The first is for axe throwing for a total of $961. But they are asking for permission to spend money that was donated by Bolton and Mink.
Do they know what other costs are going to be associated with this event?
I didn't hear what you said.
Is there going to be, do they know what some of the other costs will be associated with this event? Or is everything else already?
Not everything, but most things. So right around $2,200 at this point.
I was just asking to see if we could just say, spend up to this amount on your event, but if they don't know what some of the other costs are going to be, I don't want to limit them to that if
Right.
it's not to that point.
Well, can we just allow them to just spend the $2,000 at Bolton and Mink
Donate?
sponsored?
Yeah.
Is that how much it was, 2,000?
Correct.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Give them authorization to spend the $2,000 of donated money
For
on
the
their
event.
fall
Any way they see
event?
fit? Or
On their fall event. And then anything on top of that, they'll have to request anyway, so.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make that motion then to allow Park and Rec spend the money they've already been given from Bolton and Mink. Up to
Second.
$2,000.
Second. On the fall event.
Correct.
Yeah. Further discussion? Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion passes 5-0. Hiring operator 1.
Mayor and council, we have finally found somebody to fill the operator 1 position. We have been trying to hire for this for a few months here, and we did interview Brent last week, and there's a memo in your packet that kind of goes over this. He is a fully qualified candidate. He has a Class B CDL and Class C water and wastewater licenses. He's been working for cities for 12-plus years and has a lot of great experience. He is currently living in Waverly, so he'd be very close. The wage range for Operator 1 is currently $28 to $30, and staff had previous approval to hire up to $28 an hour. However, we feel with his experience in licensing, the higher wage is justified. The starting wage of $29.50 still falls within that range of Operator 1. So if you guys are okay with that, I just need a motion to approve hiring him at that higher $29.50 an hour.
Glad we found a qualified person.
Yes,
Say, where's he
very
been for the last
exciting.
few
Don't have to
I
pay-
know.
don't have to pay for the training.
I'll make a motion to authorize the hiring of operator one at $29.50 per hour.
I'll second.
Further discussion?
Can you pronounce his last name?
Nope.
I wasn't gonna try.
I looked at
Exactly.
it. Nope, moving on.
Exactly why I didn't wanna do it.
I will ask him.
Okay.
You don't need it for the record.
Mikulacek.
Yeah, Mikulacek,
Mikulacek.
yeah. I'll ask him.
Any other discussion? I'll vote aye. Mr. Solars?
Aye.
Ms. Andrioff?
Aye.
Ms. Otto?
I,
Mr. Paradise?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. And we have no other business to attend to.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.